Stephen Avery is best known as an American convict and as the subject of the Netflix documentary series, Making a Murderer. Synopsis. Stephen Avery, born July 9, 1962, is an American man from Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, who served 18 years in prison for a 1985 wrongful sexual assault conviction, aided by the Wisconsin Innocence Project. He was exonerated when improved DNA testing of evidence indicated that another man had committed the sexual assault. After his release from prison in 2003, Avery filed a civil lawsuit for $36 million in damages against Manitowoc County, its sheriff, and its district attorney, but in 2005, while his suit was pending, Avery was arrested for the murder of Wisconsin photographer Teresa Halbach. He was convicted in 2007 and sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. The case is under appeal as of January 2016, and a new team of defense attorneys was announced, with Kathleen Zellner taking on his case in conjunction with the Midwest Innocence Project. Avery's legal trials, particularly the murder case and its related issues, are the focus of the Netflix original documentary Making a Murderer, released in December 2015, a 10-episode series directed by Laura Ricciardi and Maura Demos. Early life. Avery was born in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, to Alan and Dolores Avery. His family operated a salvage yard on the property where they lived. Avery had 3 siblings, Earl, Chuck, and Barb. He attended school in nearby Michigan. According to one of his lawyers in 1985, school records shows that his IQ was 70 and that he barely functioned in school. In 1982, Avery met single mother Lori Matheson, and they married in July 24 of that year. They had 4 children, Rachel, Jenny, and twins Stephen and Will. Personal life. In 2013, the public radio program Radio Lab aired an episode entitled, Are You Sure?, which featured Stephen's story from Penny Benson's perspective. In 2015, Stephen was the subject of the Netflix series, Making a Murder, which investigated the Teresa Halbach murder case. The investigation alluded to evidence tampering, prosecutorial misconduct and witness coercion. This has led for a call of Stephen's pardon or for his case to be reopened. Legal troubles. In March 1981, at age 18, Avery was convicted of burglarizing a bar with a friend and sentenced to 2 years in prison. The sentence was stayed and instead Avery served 10 months in the Manitowoc County Jail, was placed on probation for 5 years, and was ordered to pay restitution. In 1982, at age 20, Avery and another man were convicted of animal cruelty for pouring gasoline and oil on Avery's cat and throwing it into a fire. He was sentenced to prison for 9 months. Avery said in an interview about the incident, "I was young and stupid, and hanging out with the wrong people." In 1985, Avery was charged with assaulting his cousin after he ran her off the road at gunpoint. The cousin, the wife of a part-time Manitowoc County Sheriff's deputy, had earlier complained that Avery had exposed himself when she drove past his house. Avery was sentenced to 6 years for endangering the safety of another person. According to Avery, the gun was not loaded, and he was trying to stop her from spreading false rumors about him. Media coverage. In 1985, Avery was convicted of first-degree sexual assault, attempted first-degree murder, and false imprisonment of Penny Benson. Avery served 18 years in prison on these charges, served concurrently with the term for the endangering safety charge. He maintained his innocence, and in 2002 the Wisconsin Innocence Project took Avery's case. As a result of improvements in DNA testing, they were able to exonerate Avery in 2003 based on DNA evidence indicating that someone other than Avery committed the crime. The DNA was matched to Gregory Allen, who was already serving a 60-year prison sentence. Avery was released from prison on September 11, 2003. After Avery was released from prison in 2003, his case attracted widespread attention. A Wisconsin state legislator introduced legislation to prevent wrongful convictions. On October 31, 2005, the state legislature passed the Avery Bill, which aimed to prevent wrongful convictions. The bill was later renamed the Criminal Justice Reforms Bill. Avery also filed a federal lawsuit against Manitowoc County, its former sheriff, Thomas Kukurek, and its former district attorney, Dennis Vogel, seeking to recover $36 million in damages stemming from his wrongful conviction. The civil suit was eventually settled in 2006 for $400,000 following his arrest for the murder of Teresa Halbach. Halbach murder. On October 31, 2005, photographer Teresa Halbach was scheduled to meet with Stephen Avery at his home on the grounds of Avery's Auto Salvage to photograph his sister's minivan for a sales ad in Auto Trader magazine. She went missing the same day. On November 11, Avery was charged with the murder of Halbach after her car and charred bone fragments were found at the salvage yard. He maintained that authorities were attempting to frame him for Halbach's disappearance, to make it harder for him to win his pending civil case regarding the wrongful sexual assault conviction. To avoid a conflict of interest, Mark R. Rohrer, the Manitowoc County District Attorney, requested that authorities from neighboring Calumet County lead the investigation. Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department officials remained involved in the case, however, participating in searches of Avery's trailer, garage and property, leading to accusations of tampering with evidence. On March 2, 2006, Avery's nephew, Brendan Dassey, was charged with being a party to first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and first-degree sexual assault after confessing to investigators. He was later convicted in a separate trial. Dassey's attorneys have filed a writ of habeas corpus in the district court for his release or retrial, claiming constitutional rights violations due to ineffective assistance of counsel and a coerced confession. Trial. Ken Kratz, the district attorney of Calumet County, was assigned as special prosecutor in the case, and Manitowoc County Circuit Court Judge Patrick Willis presided over the trial. On March 18, 2007, Avery was found guilty of murdering Halbach and guilty of illegally possessing a firearm, but he was found not guilty of mutilating a corpse. On June 1, 2007, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Halbach. He was also sentenced to 5 years for felony possession of a firearm, to run concurrently with the murder sentence. Initially housed at the Wisconsin Secure Program facility in Boscobel, he was moved in 2012 to the Waupun Correctional Institution in Waupun. In January 2016, People reported on the makeup of the trial's jury, revealing that one of the jurors in Avery's trial was the father of a Manitowoc County Sheriff's deputy, and another juror's wife was a Manitowoc County clerk. Juror Richard Mahler, who was excused from the trial after the jury had begun deliberations due to a family emergency, later commented on the trial and verdict. He stated that, in an early vote, 7 of the jurors voted not guilty, and he was mystified as to how the jury eventually agreed on a guilty verdict. Another juror told the filmmakers of Making a Murderer that he or she felt intimidated into returning a guilty verdict, fearing for his or her safety. Appeals. In August 2011, a state appeals court denied Avery's appeal for a new trial. The Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to hear his case. On January 11, 2016, Avery filed for a new appeal citing violations of due process rights. The following day, attorney Kathleen Zellner announced that her Chicago area firm would be representing Avery. She will be assisted by Tricia Bushnell, legal director of the Midwest Innocence Project. Petitions. On December 20, 2015, a petition was created at petitions.whitehouse.gov titled "Investigate and Pardon the Averys in Wisconsin and Punish the Corrupt Officials Who Railroaded These Innocent Men." The White House responded to the petition on January 7, 2016, stating that, since Avery and Dassey are both state prisoners, the president cannot pardon them. A pardon in this case would need to be issued at the state level by the appropriate authorities. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has stated that he would not be pardoning Avery. A second petition, titled "Initiate a Federal Investigation of the Sheriff's Offices of Manitowoc County and Calumet County, Wisconsin," was submitted to petitions.whitehouse.gov on January 7, 2016. The petition was archived because it did not meet the signature requirements. Media coverage. On March 26, 2013, the public radio program Radio Lab aired an episode titled "Are You Sure? 31, which featured a 24-minute segment entitled "Reasonable Doubt." It explored the story of Stephen Avery from the perspective of Penny Berenson, the woman he was wrongfully convicted of sexually assaulting in 1985. On December 18, 2015, Netflix released Making a Murderer, a 10-episode original documentary series which explores Avery's trials. The documentary examines allegations of police and prosecutorial misconduct, evidence tampering and witness coercion. First two albums, 19 and 21, earned her critical praise and a level of commercial success unsurpassed among her peers, with the artist selling millions of albums worldwide and winning multiple Grammys. She also received a songwriting Oscar for the James Bond track Skyfall. After becoming a mom, Adele